I'm sure many people are aware of this AI-generated video that Donald Trump has shared on his Instagram page. There are claims there's no known origin of this video, who produced it, but make no mistake about it, this was meant to be released and shared by Donald Trump. This is not something organic, something randomly that Donald Trump came across. It's definitely produced and meant to be shown and displayed on the world stage, and that gets into symbolism, which is a huge aspect if you're seeking truth. In this very famous quote by Freemason Manly P. Hall, when the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of men. And also from this Masonic encyclopedia, out of evil comes good. However, and the confusion of tongues gave rise to the ancient practice of Masons conversing without the use of speech. And this is a very important aspect to understand how they reveal the truth in plain sight through symbolism. And this one aspect from the AI-generated video that my very good friend Romina El Despertar created and posted on Twitter. Let's take a look here at the front of Trump Gaza, and what do you see? The head of Baphomet displayed in two places, and it obviously represents the goat of Mendes, also known as Baphomet, as we see here. Another aspect that needs to be pointed out, besides the two goats' heads of Baphomet, take a look here, as Romina found this as well with her video. Obviously, the all-seeing eye in plain sight. As you move it back, clear as day. Dual symbolism in plain sight, and also the two owls with the construction. And a lot happening here. Also, it depicts what looks like a gray alien. You see the number 9, Satan's number, in plain sight right underneath as well. A lot taking place, a lot going on in this one depiction, again, of Trump Gaza. And again, getting back to the aspect of the goat's head, Baphomet itself, as we see, and Trump being a goat himself. Take a look here, as I shown before, with Space Force and the design of his hat. And take a look at what appears to be a depiction of a space shuttle, and it makes no sense. Flames going in two opposite directions, when we know the flames should be going downwards, the thrust of the flames itself. There's a reason for that. That's because you're going to get the head of Baphomet and the two horns, just as you see in this depiction here. Make no mistake about it, this is by design 100%. Getting back to turning things upside down. Obviously, this is from the Bible, from Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, for shall the work say of him that made it. Obviously, they're taken from the Bible, and this is a form of mockery as well. And obviously, Baphomet being androgynous, take a look here as part of the AI video, Trump Gaza, and obviously two androgynous individuals dancing, and that's what Baphomet is, obviously androgynous. And more connections when it comes to Trump and the goat of Mendes, also known as Baphomet. Take a look here. Obviously, people have seen this from Mar-a-Lago with the goat itself. And take a look here at all the dollar bills and what it says on each dollar bill. In Trump we trust. And this is blasphemous when it comes to those that are Christian Bible believers. And just another connection here, going back from several years ago, with Trump supposedly owning goats to save money on taxes. How Trump used goats to cut millions of dollars of his local property tax and paid just $700 last year. So definitely the connections that are being made are undeniable. And that gets to this Bible verse and understanding why the goat is prominently being used by these Antichrist type people such as Trump. Is he the actual Antichrist? Only time will tell. And this is the reason they use that goat symbolism. This is a reference to Jesus. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. So it's clear as day why they use that goat symbolism when it comes to the satanic Masons. It's obvious what is taking place for those that have eyes to see. And that gets into Elon Musk, who I've covered in a video with his son X in the White House with Donald Trump. Obviously his right-hand man. And just take a look here, as I've shown previously, as you see Elon Musk doing the Masonic hand sign, the diamond sign, which is 33. But the hat itself, taking a closer look, as I shown before, Trump as the 45th president and the 47th. 4 and 5, obviously 9, 4 and 7 being 11 for your 9/11 coded. And obviously Trump as number 47 when it comes to being president. And just so happens with the Masonic square and compass, the compass itself being at the 47 degree, and just quite possibly this is the very last president the United States will have. That's a strong possibility, with Trump saying it himself, how you never have to vote again.
In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Getting back to Elon Musk himself, take a look here as you see him dressed up with Baphomet himself. And for those that think this is just fun and games, absolutely not. Take a look here. Elon Musk's mother, May Musk, of course your MM for 33, covering of the right eye, the 666 within the eye itself. So I pointed out so many times in the past of the covering of the right eye symbolism. It gets back to the Bible from Zechariah 11:17, and this is regarding the Antichrist. And his right eye shall be utterly darkened. So again, I can't stress it enough, the importance of symbolism. Just like I stated in the very beginning of this presentation, with the very famous Freemason Manly P. Hall, and the great veil that'll be lifted once you understand the language of symbolism. Now, that gets back to the AI-generated video in this individual that's supposedly in Gaza being interviewed, and his reaction to the video itself. And make no mistake about it, this person's a plant. I've covered this topic as far as the white horse symbolism. For those that follow my channel over the years, well over a decade, I've been covering this topic when it comes to the white horse symbolism. Before playing the video, take a look here when it comes to the Bible, where it states here in Revelation 6:2, and I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and had a crown that was given to him, and he went forth conquering. And definitely you see it here. Clearly the white horse symbolism, and clearly he's reading off a script. Let's take a listen.
And displacement and poverty and horrible conditions that even the animals couldn't handle it. And after that, he's going to control Gaza? No, we're not going to let you.
And for those that have any doubt what I'm saying is not true, I'm going to make very strong connections here that are undeniable when it comes to the white horse symbolism. And this is why they are displaying it with all these news stories that I'm going to show going way back in the past. But first off, let's take a look here at these Masonic lodges. In the White Horse Lodge, Westbury Wilts, get your WW for 33. And the 2227, interesting number with this Masonic Lodge. And also the Salisbury Freemasons. And a lot of symbolism here, of course, with the black and white and the duality being shown. But let's take a close look here with the obvious white horse symbolism in plain sight. Now, going back in time with many news stories I've covered regarding the white horse symbolism. This one goes back to 2008 with Barack Obama's acceptance speech for the Democratic Party in Denver, Colorado. Of course, Mile High Stadium is where this took place. And of course, they want to be like the Most High. That's another aspect of symbolism with Mile High Stadium. And just take a look here at the stage itself, which basically is the same design as the altar of Zeus, as you see here, this replica in Berlin. Now, getting to the aspect of the white horse symbolism, just take a look here, and this is on the big screen, and you see the white horse, which is the apex of the stadium itself, also the symbolism of the all-seeing eye, and of course, once again, Barack Obama on stage on the big screen. So much symbolism taking place, and the majority of society have no idea what is going on, what is taking place. And here's a close-up view of the white horse being displayed on top of the stadium earlier that day. And that gets into other news stories I've covered regarding the white horse symbolism. And that brings us to the O.J. Simpson trial, which I was the first to call out in a video presentation, calling it nothing more than a divide and conquer psyop, with the Goldman family in a civil lawsuit suing O.J. for that magic number of 33. Simpson in numerology is 33 as well. And of course, you had the white Bronco, which is the white horse in this low-speed chase. And all the police cars, police being 33 in numerology. Make no mistake about it. With AC Cowlings driving, O.J. Simpson in the back. This was a made-for-TV production, just like I covered back in 2014 with the event that took place in Sydney, Australia, with the Sydney Siege. And this is 7 Network News Australia. And everybody's looking at these individuals. Always look in the back. Always look for the symbolism when it comes to the news story. And I spotted this right away, way back in 2014, where the clock reads 9:11, and you see the white horse side by side. And this is pretty interesting, pretty amazing when you look at it, you break it all down, because Revelation 9:11 is the only Bible verse where the Antichrist is named. You see here Revelation 9:11, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. So again, make no mistake about it. This is by design clearly. It's not blocked. It's not obscured. It's in plain sight for all to see. And again, the 9 and the 11 with the white horse. Unbelievable how they put the signs and symbols and basically the agenda, the future agenda, and all roads lead to the Antichrist. And definitely it's taken place in plain sight throughout history. And very few see this. Very few are looking for symbolism with these news stories. And that brings us to the aspect of the 4 horsemen of the Bible. The white horse, the red horse, the black horse, and of course the pale horse, which is the greenish color. And going back in recent history with Joe Biden on stage, and I'll just call it when he received his first jag, and you see him, again, with the white horse symbolism on his shirt, clear as day. Let's take a look here. More symbolism to point out. Obviously, you see the Christianic here. You have your CC for 33 and a star symbolism as well. And just take a look in the background with Joe Biden and his wife Jill and the clear one-eye symbolism in plain sight. So you just don't look for one piece of symbolism when there's multiple usually taking place. Again, being all about symbolism, more than one is more likely to be displayed, and there's several taking place here once again. And that gets again to Joe Biden here. The first time he got the jag, he has the white horse. The second time, he has the red horse. Again, getting back here in chronological order, the white horse and then the red horse. Let's take a look here from the Bible scripture. The first horseman, a conqueror with a bow and crown, rides a white horse. Of course, the red horse. The second horse is given a great sword and rides a red horse. So for those that think this is just some amazing coincidence, you're out of your mind. This is 100% by design. Make no mistake about it. Now, another aspect here is with Kamala Harris, supposedly receiving the jag as well. Take a look closely. Again, symbolism. They're all about symbolism. I'm going to be repetitive about this during this presentation. Take a look. As the nurse moves away, take a look at that left hand, the left-hand path. What happens here? Look at the 2 fingers in the center. And what do you see? The whole entire time, keeping it in that position as I move the video. And all the way towards the end. But not just that. Again, symbolism. Make no mistake about it. This is displayed on purpose by design. What do you have here? 3 chevrons. And chevron in numerology just so happens to be 33. All by design. And getting back to the devil horns, just like Michael Robinson, Michelle Obama. The same thing. The left-hand path. All by design once again. And that gets to the very start with Corona, as you see here. Covered this extensively when it first happened in 2020. And you see the buses. And you see it says Horsemen. And you clearly see the white horse symbolism in plain sight. Getting a little bit of a closer look of the white horse symbolism. Take a look here. I can point out a lot here, but I'm going to point out what's only necessary for the video itself. Take a look here at the license plates. I'm the first one to cover this as well as far as coded license plates many years ago. Take a look here when it comes to YX68UDG. Just so happens to be 33 for all the coincidence theorists out there that think the numbers are nothing more than nonsense. No, all you've been fed is nonsense your whole entire life. You can't go where the truth is. And that gets back to another individual on the world stage, as you see here with Kobe. And you see here, they're supposedly buried in Corona Del Mar. The same time frame, just prior to all this taking place. And I also should mention with the Del Mar, Mar backwards is the ram as well, another aspect of symbolism. And make no mistake about this when it comes to Corona itself being 33 in gematria or reverse full reduction. And obviously, Kobe's well known for having a shoe deal with Nike. Just take a look here. Of course, Nike is the goddess of victory. Taking a closer look here, what do you see? The white horse. Again, all this is taking place the same time frame with what went down during this 2020 event. And take a look here, closer look here at the shoes and the box itself. Kobe 11 Elite and the white horse. And that gets into other news stories that I've covered. In 2013, of course, with Boston and Bowman clearly doing the Masonic hand sign. Take a closer look here. And obviously the Masonic hand sign. Now take a look at this photo. What do you see Bowman wearing? The white horse on the shirt. Clear as day. And more connections regarding what took place or supposedly took place in Boston. With this one individual involved, you clearly see the 3 on the hat. The hat's backwards. Of course, they like to do things in reverse. The Masonic bricks. Here's the other side of the hat. Obviously a 3. Here's a front view with the hat backwards. I find it interesting with this one individual. It's like the one eye symbolism. But let's take a look at this individual's name. With the pronunciation, with the Joker or Joker, and the 33 name. And again, let's take a look at the hat, the very front, very revealing, with the 33 and the black horse. Again, this is something for all the coincidence theorists out there that are watching this video presentation. Again, aligning with all the horses from the biblical 4 horsemen. The white, red, black, and the pale. And before moving forward, let's take a look here when it comes to Boston. And take a look at the finish line. And all roads lead to the 666 agenda. That's the finish line. And as far as numerology, you have the blue and gold. And as always, by design, signs, symbols, dates, numbers, and colors is what they work off of. It just so happens in Pythagorean numerology, blue and gold is 33. And in Chaldean, gold and blue is 33. So you get your dual 33s. Just like I showed many times with the Grand Sovereign Commander when it comes to Freemasons, the dual 33s in plain sight. And just a little bit of a close-up of the dual 33s. And that gets back to all the colors of the 4 horsemen and the pale horse. I've covered this in a video presentation regarding Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin with this one individual that supposedly went in outer space. And this is Oliver Demon is his name. And there you see clear as day the pale horse, the greenish color, but that is the pale horse. And his dad, the one eye symbolism as well. Put it all together, and what do you see here? It all comes together. That gets into another news story I covered, January 6th. And take a look here at Ashley Babbitt with the Trump hat. And what do you see here? Take a look at what we have. There she is, supposedly the Capitol building, her last moments. And that was it for her, supposedly on the world stage. Made her exit. And a family member, this was covered by the Daily Mail, with the family member all sad, sitting on a step. And take a look at his hat. And besides the obvious orange for 33, you have the white horse symbolism. This was also covered on this one news network, talking about the story with the white horse in the back. To be clear here, this was Capital News report showing the white horse symbolism, covering this news story along with the Daily Mail in the UK. Again, here you have it, clear as day. Here's another news story from Denver, Colorado, with this individual. An unrelated story. Again, the white horse, the orange mane for 33 in plain sight. Going back in time, I've covered so many of these, like I stated. Again, the white horse symbolism. There's more symbolism here. You could take a closer look. And the diamond for 33. And there's something in the middle I'm not going to get into here. But for those that are researchers, you'll know what this symbolism means. Let's take a look here at this one individual. Again, with the white horse symbolism, with this news story. Here's another news story. More white horse symbolism as well. And here's another example of a news story I covered back in 2016 with Diamond Reynolds. Diamond being 33 in numerology. And her boyfriend, just take a look here. The white horse symbolism. Once again. And more of the same. The white horse. And wearing Jesus on a cross with the necklace. This is obviously integrated. Antichrist with Christ in one. Unbelievable. And these are the aspects that the majority of society, even researchers in truth, do not spot or see. And that gets back to Diamond Reynolds once again. And wearing this covering, you have the CC for 33 with Chanel. Other news stories as well that I covered. Alton Sterling wearing the black horse. And this one individual here with this news story as well. When it comes to Dante Wright, let's get a little bit of a close-up here of this selfie. And you can see the horse symbolism clearly in plain sight. And here is the so-called mother and father in the black and white shirt. A little bit of a close-up. Looks like he's trying to remember his lines. But again, the white horse symbolism. The black and white for duality. And going back in more recent history here, not too far along, that I covered this as well. When it comes to Baltimore, and again, the black and white symbolism with the black horse with this one individual. So this is mostly white, a little bit of black, and this is the duality aspect, as you see here. And also, something that was a big story that I covered as well in the NFL with Damar Hamlin with the Buffalo Bills, and clearly the white horse symbolism once again. Clear as day. And of course with Demar with the Mar in the name in reverse ram. And also take a look. When Demar was carted away, you had the 33 on the back of the ambulance. And to finish up this presentation, this is something I covered this past Summer Games with the white horse leading all the nation flags in the back. This is clear as day. But still, there will be people that deny the undeniable. But everything I've shown in this video presentation, for those that have eyes to see, that have open ears and open minds, they will see it's very clear what's happening here. And like I said earlier, with this whole video presentation, all roads lead to the Antichrist who rides the white horse.
Don't ride the white horse.
John chapter 9, verse 25. Whereas once I was blind, now I can see. Now I can see.